You can only submit 20 photos with your spousal sponsorship application. 20. That's the maximum IRCC will accept. And if you submit 100 because you think more is better, you've already told the officer something about how carefully you read their instructions. Most couples make the same mistakes with their photo evidence, and they don't find out until they get a procedural fairness letter or a refusal. So let's fix that today. I'm going to walk you through what IRCC actually wants, what gets you flagged, and the 5 mistakes I see most often. Hi, I'm Bella Lee. I'm a regulated Canadian immigration consultant, and I run my practice, Landro Immigration, out of Nova Scotia. Spousal sponsorship is one of the immigration fields I specialize in. This is the first video in my spousal sponsorship evidence series. 6 videos covering the 5 evidentiary pillars officers actually use to assess your relationship under Regulation 4. Photos, communication, joint finances, travel history, and third-party statements. Today, we start with photos. Here's why this video matters. Since 2022, spousal sponsorship applications go through the PR portal fully digital. No more shoe boxes of wedding photos, no more 200-page albums. The system is rigid. You upload 1 file per field, and the officer reviewing your case is trained to spot patterns that look staged, rushed, or fabricated. The law they're applying, Regulation 4 of the Immigration and Refugee Protection Regulations, gives them 2 ways to refuse you. They can find the relationship isn't genuine, or they can find you got married primarily for immigration. Either one ends the application. Your photos have to defend against both. That's a lot of weight on the 20 images, so let's get them right. The IMM 553 document checklist is explicit, maximum 20 photos, not a suggestion, not a guideline, a maximum. I see couples submit 60, 80, sometimes over 100 photos, thinking they're being thorough. The thing is, when you flood an officer with photos, you're not actually proving genuineness. You're proving you didn't read the instructions. And officers notice they have to scroll through every single one. So when they hit photo number 47 of you and your spouse on the same couch in similar outfits on what is clearly the same weekend, you've made their job harder and you've diluted your strongest evidence. By all means, take hundreds of photos in your life. Keep them. They might matter later, but for the application itself, you submit 20. Curated, strategic, each one earning its spot. IRCC tells you exactly what they want to see. 4 categories: weddings, customary celebrations, that's your cultural, religious, or traditional ceremonies, engagements, and outings. That last one is what most couples underway. I mean, the wedding photos are easy. You hired a photographer, you have 1,000 of them. The engagement photos are easy too, but the outings, the ordinary unstaged moments of your actual life together, that's where genuine relationships separate themselves from fake ones. Officers know wedding photos can be staged. They know engagement shoots can be manufactured. What's much harder to fake is years of casual photos. You at a friend's birthday party, both of you with your in-laws at a holiday dinner, the 2 of you walking the dog in the rain. Those are the photos that carry weight. And here's the other piece. The photos must be from different times and different places. Not 20 photos from your wedding day, not 20 photos from your honeymoon. A real relationship leaves a trail across time and across locations. Your photo package has to show that trail. Now, here's something most applicants never think about. When the officer assesses whether your relationship is genuine, they're looking at right now. When they assess why you got married, they're looking back at the moment you actually got married. So those are 2 different time periods. And your photos have to do both jobs at once. Right? They have to prove you're genuinely together today, and you have to prove that when you got married, the relationship was real. If all your photos are from the last 6 months before you applied, you've proven the present. You haven't proven the past. If all your photos are from your wedding day 3 years ago, you've proven the past, but you haven't proven the present. The strongest 20 photo packages distribute across the entire arc of the relationship. A few from early dating, a few from from the engagement period, a few from the wedding and customary celebrations, and the largest portion, maybe 7 or 8, from ongoing daily life after the wedding. That distribution tells a story. That's the point. If you already started pulling photos together and you're not sure your package actually proves what IRCC needed to prove, that's exactly what a strategy session is for. Here's something officers are trained to look for and is not in any checklist: isolation. Fake relationships tend to be socially isolated. Why? Because if your marriage is transactional, you don't take the risk of involving your family. You don't introduce your spouse to your friends. You don't post about each other. There's a wall around the relationship because it's not really for public consumption. Genuine relationships do the opposite. They integrate. Your family knows your spouse, your friends know them, your community sees you as a couple. So when I'm helping a client build a 20 photo package, I make sure that a real portion of those photos show the relationship in public. Both of you with your parents, both of you with siblings, group photos from holidays, friends' birthdays, religious gatherings, community events. If your entire photo package, just 2 of you alone in 20 different settings, that's a flag. Even if every single photo is real, an officer looks at that and asks, where is everyone else? Where does this relationship exist? Why does this relationship exist in a vacuum? So pull your family in, pull your friends in. The point isn't to be performative. The point is to show that your relationship exists in the world the way real relationships do. This one mistake gets applications flagged constantly, and it takes 30 minutes to fix. The IMM 5533 tells you to provide a separate document describing the context for each photo: where it was taken, when it was taken, who's in it, what was happening. Most couples skip this entirely, or they slap on labels like "us at the beach" and call it done. That's not context, that's a caption. Real context reads like this: December 24, 2024, Christmas Eve at my parents' house in Halifax. From left, my father, me, my partner, my mother, my sister. First Christmas after our wedding. That tells an officer 5 things: the date, the location, the relationship to family, the cultural significance, and where it sits in the arc of your relationship. Without that level of context, a photo of you with an older woman could be a mother, a stranger, or anyone. The officer has to guess, and officers don't guess in your favor. They flag what they can't verify, so label every photo properly. The thing is, labeling alone can turn a weak photo into strong evidence, and it costs you nothing but time. Quick run through: 5 photo mistakes that lead to a procedural fairness letter or a refusal. 1. Submitting too many photos. Anything over 20 tells the officer you didn't read the instructions and dilutes your strongest evidence. 2. No contextual descriptions. Photos without labels are close to useless. 3. Proxy marriages photos. IRCC's position is clear. If one party wasn't physically present at the ceremony, the marriage isn't recognized for immigration purposes. 4. The upload trap. You can only upload 1 file per field in the PR portal. If you try to upload 20 separate JPEGs in the same field, it overwrites. Only the last one saves. You have to combine all 20 photos plus your contextual descriptions into a single PDF. And 5, if your IMM 5532 says you met in Paris in June and the photo metadata shows Toronto in December, that's a misrepresentation flag. Big one. Photos can carry hidden data that records when and where they were taken. Officers have tools, read it. If your story and your photos don't match, that gap needs to be addressed before they ask. If you're applying as long-distance married or as common law partners, your photo strategy shifts. For long-distance couples, every visit matters, every reunion. The outings category becomes your strongest evidence because it proves you've used your limited physical time together. For common law, the bar is higher. You need to prove that you've publicly presented as a couple for at least 1 full year. Heavy emphasis on community integration, shared social events, and domestic life together. Same 20 photo maximum, but the curation strategy changes. That's a conversation for your specific case. If you're preparing a spousal sponsorship and you want to know whether your photo evidence is doing the work it needs to do, book a strategy session, link in the description. This was video 1 in my spousal sponsorship evidence series. Next up is communication evidence, the 10-page rule that decides whether your screenshots help you or sink you. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in my next video.